No books are named randomly. Every title of a book allows the reader to find a deeper meaning to the characters, plot, and theme.
So now it's time to ask the real question. Is The Great Gatsby an accurate title, or is it ironic? Is Gatsby truly great?
In order to analyze whether the title of the book is appropriate or not, one has to keep in mind that the whole story unfolds from Nick's perspective. Nothing he writes about is 100% accurate. It is all opinionated. So the first thing to look at is, does Nick view Gatsby as great?
At the beginning of the book, Nick believes that Gatsby is great before he even meets Gatsby. He just knows that Gatsby is his next door neighbor who everyone talks about. He is rich and appears to have the lifestyle any man desires.
When Nick first speaks to a man who he later finds out is Gatsby, he exclaims, "What? Oh, I beg your pardon." He basically worships Gatsby and treats him with the most utter respect before he truly knows anything about him. From Nick's perspective, Gatsby truly is great.
However, as the story progresses, Nick shifts from envy towards Gatsby to pity. He realizes that Gatsby has devoted his entire life to Daisy. He throws parties every night, works hard to be wealthy, and buys anything and everything he can.
Although he is surrounded by plenty of guests during many nights, none of them attend his funeral.
This is because Gatsby is not so great. He lives in the past with Daisy, and all he cares about is reaching the American dream. Nick acknowledges this, stating that he couldn't possibly leave Daisy until he knew what she was going to do. He was clutching at some last hope, and I couldn't bear to shake him free.
Nick opens his eyes to the reality of Gatsby's life. After Gatsby's death, Nick moves to the Middle West and explains that while all of them were pretending to be East Egg worthy, they are all Westerners.
Nick explains that Tom and Gatsby, Daisy and Jordan, and him were all Westerners, and perhaps they possessed some deficiency in common, which made them subtly unadaptable to Eastern life, and that after Gatsby's death, the East Egg was haunted for him like that.
The East Side has a fast-paced lifestyle and immoral values. Nick, Gatsby, Tom, Daisy, and Jordan spend most of their time in the East, but are unable to properly adapt to that lifestyle, which leads to Gatsby's death, haunting the East Side for Nick and showing they are all truly Westerners.
At the beginning of the book, Nick thinks that Gatsby is most suited for East Side. He is rich and successful, constantly throwing parties, and is very well known. But people do not truly know him at all. At the end of the book, Nick realizes everything about Gatsby is fake and untrue. Even the way that Gatsby came into his new money, which made him suitable for the East Side lifestyle, was fraud.
Gatsby tries hard to appear great, which is how Nick initially sees him. But as the book progresses, Nick no longer envies Gatsby. He realizes that Gatsby is not so great, making him pity him, which makes the title very ironic. After all, titles often depict the entire book, not just the beginning point of view.
On the other hand, Gatsby failing to withhold a dream that he dedicates his life to may be what ultimately makes him great. Let us explain. Nick writes about Gatsby and explains that Gatsby was compelled into an aesthetic contemplation he neither understood nor desired, face to face, for the last time in history, with something commensurate to his capacity for wonder.
Gatsby's story is really a lesson. People may desire the American dream, but no one really thinks about what it means. It can corrupt a person when they devote their lives to it. Gatsby's story can open people's eyes to the reality of the American dream, making Gatsby great for preventing people from following in his footsteps.
In this case, the title of the book is suitable and makes sense. Now, to look at the title of the book from a perspective that isn't Nick's, calling someone great can be associated with magicians or illusionists a lot of the time.
Calling the book The Great Gatsby may refer to Gatsby's ability to create the illusion of his life. Gatsby had an outside persona that he played. Anyone looking at him would think he had every person's dream: a big house, wealth, fancy cars, and a lot of friends. But in reality, it's all an illusion. Everyone in Gatsby's life was fake.
No one at his parties are his friends, and his few close so called friends didn't even go to his funeral, which in a way shows that they do not think Gatsby is great at all.
Looking at Gatsby's life, it is not so great. No one that attends his parties thinks he is great. They just use him for his house. Rather than attempting to get to know him, they gossip in order to find out more about his life. People assume he killed a man and was a German spy during the war, even though he's American, which does not make Gatsby seem great to outsider opinions.
As one can see, the word great is very ambiguous. Saying the Great Gatsby may refer to the fact that Gatsby himself is great, his life is great, or the effects of his actions have been great.
Considering this book consists of many metaphors, symbols, and situations that can be perceived from a lot of different angles, the title most likely does the same. Each reader has the ability to decide whether Gatsby is great or not, depending on how they view his character throughout the book.
Similar to characters labeled as tragic heroes, although they have numerous flaws, Gatsby is called great despite his lack of significant positive qualities of superiority.
The same way that Nick's views of Gatsby change from the beginning of the book to the end, from envy to pity, a reader may be more affected by certain qualities that Gatsby has than others. They may continue to think he's great from beginning to end, initially think he's great and then change their minds, not think he is great at all, or only believe he is great after his death.
There is no right or wrong answer as to whether Gatsby is great or not. It all depends on your individual perspective, and as long as you can back it up, your English teacher will support you.